And of course, how he progresses, how he heals, the swelling going down depends on when Davis gets back on the field. But certainly at this point in spring training, no reason to really be alarmed. And in fantasy, I'm loving me some J.D. Davis this year. Is there a deeper fantasy position, everyone, than third base? I just think third base is a position where you can wait and pick someone up late. J.D. Davis is a great example. I mean, do any of you think you're drafting J.D. Davis in the first 10 rounds? Because if you are, you'll be the first one I've heard say that. No, you're going to pick J.D. Davis up late. And remember, he had over 20 homers last year and didn't play all year. The Mets are planning on utilizing him on a daily basis, different positions, but on a daily basis. He should increase his home runs. He should hit more than just 20 or so. Upper 20s, maybe 30, if he plays all year. Drive in what, 80, 90 runs? I think he could be a really big value pick in this year's fantasy draft. So keep my eye on J.D. Davis. I hope he recovers well. I hope he's back on the field soon and showing that there are no ill effects of this scary could-have-been injury. Cardinals beat the Astros, as I said in that other split squad game. What's going on with the Cardinals? Well, Matt Carpenter. Now, remember at one point in time when Matt Carpenter was a fantasy darling. Remember? Because he was a fantasy darling. But not last year. Last year he was blah. And so yesterday he was scratched from his Grapefruit League game against Houston with back tightness. Replaced by Nolan Gorman. And it seems like to me every year now for the last 2 or 3 years, Carpenter has had back issue after back issue after back issue. He only played in 129 games last year. He hit .226. Now, could he be a bounce-back candidate? Sure. If he hits like Matt Carpenter, he could be comeback player of the year. But the back, to me, is an issue. I read in some accounts it's probably not that big an issue. To me, it's a big issue because it's the same injury he keeps sustaining over and over. So I want to keep my eye on Carpenter very cautiously before I do any drafting. How about Oakland? Stephen Piscotty. Problems with his ribs. He took batting cage practice yesterday. He's been out with this injury. He did go on the field last week. He's hoping to get into games this weekend. He only played in 93 games last season. He did bat .267. He did have 27 home runs, though, the season before in 151 games. So where will he, if he is drafted? Is he drafted in a 10-team or 12-team league? I mean, mixed draft league. Or is he only drafted in AL onlys? Or in deep leagues? How did his team do yesterday? You know I love the swinging A's. And there's a reason why I love the swinging A's. Well, yesterday they were the swinging A's. I don't do many box scores, but I got to do this one, okay? So Simeon led off the game. He went 1 for 2. Mateo came in for him and also went 1 for 2. Chapman batting second went 1 for 3. Olsen, who I really like at first base this year, probably as much as I like Freddie Freeman. And I can get Olsen 2 rounds later. So I can pick up a really good outfielder instead of Freddie Freeman and still get Matt Olsen. Just saying. Batting fourth, Kano went 1 for 2. Brown went 2 for 2. Laureano went 1 for 2. Kemp went 0 for 2. Freeman, the catcher, 2 for 2. Heim, the catcher, 2 for 3. All was said and done. The A's had scored 16 stinking runs yesterday. How about that? Chapman homered. It was his first of the spring, hit in the 3rd inning. Pitching for Oakland, Frankie Montas started. A perfect first inning and struck out 1 batter. Everything is well in Oakland. Not so much for Luke Weaver yesterday for Arizona. Pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 4 runs. Struck out 2, walked 2. So, didn't make a whole lot out of that. But I do love the fact that Oakland is already swinging the bats. And I look for them just to continue swinging the bats all spring and all season long. The Cardinals yesterday played a double dip, split squad. Not a double dip, but a split squad game. I told you already they beat the Astros 7-5 in the game against Houston. And in that game, the lineup included Wong, Edman. Edman got 5 at-bats yesterday. Went 0 for 5. DeYoung, 2 hits. Then, and of course, I already told you they won that game. Now, they also had another, in their other split squad game, they played the Marlins yesterday. Look, don't you know the Marlin fans wish that spring games counted and that the season ended today? They're 5-0. They haven't lost a spring training game yet. And they beat the split squad Cardinals yesterday 8-7. That's right. Hey, hear it for the Marlins. If they can't win during the regular season, then let's let them win during the spring training, right? And yesterday, looking at that game, Dexter Fowler led off, but here you go. The rookie outfielder Carlson that we've all heard about and followed, 2 for 2 yesterday, guys. 2 runs scored. Gorman, told you he's played instead of Matt Carpenter, who was scratched just before game time. Gorman goes 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Carlson hit a triple. That's right. Gorman hit a double. And Goldschmidt, Paul Goldschmidt started his first spring training game of the year yesterday. He has had trouble with his elbow. He got the start at first base. He'd only been DHing, but yesterday was his first day in the field, so it appears that Goldie now is back with the elbow not bothering him. He did have 3 at-bats yesterday. He drew a walk. He got hit by a pitch in his elbow pad, by the way, and he got a hit. So is Goldie going to have a return to form kind of year that we're used to from Paul Goldschmidt? Now, wouldn't that be something, Cardinal fans, if all of a sudden Paul Goldschmidt turned into the player that we know he used to be before he got to St. Louis? We'll see, but he was in the field yesterday for the first time, playing first base, got 3 at-bats. Good day, way to go for Paul Goldschmidt. Cardinal outfielder Tyler O'Neill played all of the game against the Marlins. He went 1 for 5. He had a single, 2 strikeouts. He should, notice I said should, have one of the starting spots in the Cardinals outfield. Now, his power is real, man, I'm telling you. He's got all kinds of power. And there's a lot of swing and miss in that swing. But last year in 60 games, he hit .262. Now, does he need to have more patience and have a better eye at the plate? Sure, but don't we all, you know? But he has great potential, great power potential. And he is getting the at-bats this spring to get that timing right. I love it. I love it. I think he's going to be a big player this year and do well for the Cardinals. Brave starter, I got to have him on every show. Okay, I got to have Mike Soroka because he's Mike Soroka. Every show I got to call his name and sing that song. I just got to. So what's the latest scoop today, Arnie, on Mike Soroka? I'll give it to you. Are you ready? You got something to write with? Because it is Mike Soroka. Growing again, Groin. And he's expected to make his Grapefruit League debut this Friday against my favorite, my beloved New York Yankees. The 22-year-old Soroka, he injured that groin during live batting practice last week. And if he can avoid a setback, he should be ready to start the 2020 season on time. Remember what he did last year. Don't forget. In 2019, he won 13 games and only lost 4. and he had a 2.68 ERA in 29 starts. He did not break camp with the Braves last year. So we're expecting what? I'm expecting even better than that from Mike Soroka in 2020. Okay, so I've had my Mike Soroka fix for today. Let's talk about someone else. How about we talk about Brandon Nimmo, New York Mets center fielder, and probably still, I think it's the name, but a lot of expectations surrounds Nimmo this year. Now, let's give an update. Luis Rojas called his cardiac screening on Wednesday precautionary. Rojas said the tests were relatively routine. Now, having had open heart surgery, let me tell you, there is nothing routine about having a cardiac screen. That concerns me. Been there, walked that road, done that. Reports are that it looks like he'll be just fine. He's 26, turns 27 in March. So let's call him 27. He only played in 69 games last year for the Metropolitans because of injury. When he last played a full season in 2018, he hit 263 with an almost 900 OPS, 17 home runs, 9 steals in 140 games. Now, he's got some competition, particularly in the outfield if Yoenis Cespedes raises his right and left heel. I would have said ugly head, but let's just use right and left heel. Because if he can raise them and put them down, that means he can run. And if he can run, we know he can hit. And if Cespedes can hit and run, he's going to play. And then you got McNeil. And you just got other players. J.D. Davis, who can play outfield. We already talked about him in the show. So it's no guarantee that Nemo's going to have a starting position anyway. But if this cardiac screening turns out to be something more serious and he's on the shelf for any time this spring, it just gives other players on that team more opportunity. So I'm very cautious in drafting Nimmo high in this year's draft. The Dodgers yesterday, they beat the Angels 9-4. And in their game against the Anaheim Angels, I want to talk about a little bit of pitching going on there. Okay, Kenley Jansen pitched the second inning and struck out the side. Now, I think the Dodgers will cautiously pitch Jansen this spring. But that's 2 games now where he's coming in the second inning so far this spring and been absolutely lights out. Speaking of lights out for the Anaheim Angels, how about their starting pitcher, Canning, who went 2 innings yesterday, no hits, only 1 walk. Good pitching yesterday there. La Stella led off for the Angels, 0 for 3. Joe Adell, his second hit now of the spring, goes 1 for 3 yesterday. So it's interesting to see the Dodgers playing the Angels, Canning pitching, Jansen pitching. A lot of attention on rookie pitcher Dustin May, who is still not throwing off the mound. Okay, injured his side, so he's got some pain, and that's tricky. You get into those obliques, those side muscles. He did have a bullpen session on Sunday. After that, he felt further discomfort in his side, so he's probably heading to AAA to start the season. This ailment almost nails his coffin shut on that. But I do think he comes up to the Dodgers. They're going to lose a pitcher sometime this year to something. Do you really think Kershaw is never going on the IL this year? Do you really think Urias won't go on the IL this year? Are you kidding me? They are going to. And they're also going to skip a Buehler start or 2 here and there. And so is it May? Is it June? Is it July? I don't know. I have no idea when. It's not a matter of if, though, it's a matter of when. Dustin May